Hey, what's going on YouTube? I guess I'm here making this is gonna be my first video for this channel, but I wanted to talk about why I became an atheist, and this is something super important because a lot of people they associate like atheists with people who believe in Satan or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you right now that that's not the truth. For a very long time, I used to be a conspiracy theorist. Back in 2019, this is where it all started. I used to think that like vaccines were bad for you. I used to think that the Earth was flat. I used to think that like maybe aliens were real. I used to believe in a lot of superstition, especially like herbal medicine and all that stuff. I used to believe in Dr. Sebi and his teachings about herbs and not consuming acidic foods and only consuming alkaline foods, all that good stuff. I used to believe in all of that stuff, and it happened. I guess it just happened because I was just superstitious. I used to think that scientists were lying. I used to think that these group of people on a little small table plotting against the world and like potentially like trying to destroy everyone or something. Like I used to think that the Illuminati were after us like common people and stuff. But the truth is far from that. And I stumble upon the truth. And I realized that I was making a mistake because essentially I was making assumptions. And I read this book, right? And it talked about assumptions, right? And assumption is it's like a terrible thing. It's like the biggest, it's one of the biggest signs of like, it's almost like intelligent ignorance. Like you think you know what you're talking about. You think you know that what you're saying is true, but when it comes time to prove it, there's this there's nothing. It's all personal beliefs. It's all emotional things. Like it's nothing that it's not scientific at all. And this whole thing started because I used to think that the Earth was flat, and then when I was proven wrong, I saw that these flat earthers, instead of giving up and having the integrity to say, "Hey, I was wrong. Now let's move on to the new knowledge, implement that, and leave this whole old knowledge behind." All right, which is a sign of integrity too, right? Because when you have integrity, you're able to move on. You're able to move on from your previous beliefs, right? Because these beliefs, they eventually get proven wrong. And when they get proven wrong, it is your moral duty to move on to the thing that disproves it, and then continue on with that, and be extremely skeptical about everything. You have to be. That's a sign of integrity. Being skeptical is not like you're rebelling. It doesn't mean you're rebelling. It doesn't mean that you're being disrespectful. It doesn't mean that you're disrespecting tradition or whatever, right? Because at the end of the day, tradition and authority does not. They don't tell you. They don't make up what's true and what's not true. And the thing about the truth is that it doesn't fear being questioned. So I have every right to question religion, because as a sign of integrity, it is my duty to be skeptic, to be skeptic about like what I think I know, right? To question my beliefs. And the thing is that these skepticisms, or these things that I used to think, or these assumptions that I used to think that they were real, are now crumbling down. And the thing is that there's people out there who, instead of moving on, all right, having the integrity to move on, right, to the new knowledge, right, they just continue adding on to the lies. They continue to make these assumptions on top of assumptions, right? Stuff that just can't be proven or disproven. And they think that simply because you can't disprove it, simply because you can't disprove it doesn't mean that it's true, because you can't prove it either. And that's the sucky part, right? How am I expected to be a Christian and not be able to prove anything that I believe in? Like, that's nonsense to me. I've been scammed. I've been scammed before. I'll tell you the truth. I've been scammed before. And because I thought that I was making an investment, right? And this scammer talked to me. He told me it was an investment. He told me that I was going to make hella money, whatever. He showed me the money. He was like, look, this is what you're going to make, whatever, right? And I blindly believed. Because I thought that if I believed hard enough, then this would become truth. And this would come to reality, or whatever, right? Whatever nonsense that happens, right? But no, I was wrong. A scammer's going to do what a scammer's going to do, right? And a scammer is going to tell you, he's going to show you, and he's going to be like, look, this right here is the proof, right? This right here, look at the money, right? You're going to get the money. You just got to have faith. You just got to have faith. But having faith is not a virtue either. Because having faith, you're implying that you're implying an assumption, right? And so when you create an assumption is not backed up by anything. It's just backed up by a strong belief that you think you know what you know, but you don't know. And that's a lack of integrity, because it's a sign of ignorance. It's like you don't want to know the truth. You don't care about the truth. And it's not something that's conscious. It's something that's a little bit more unconscious, right? And I'm not saying that people that believe it, like, in superstition are like, how to say this? Like, I'm not saying that, like, people who believe, like, for example, in God, right, are well, they kind of are ignorant, because, like, if you believe in something, right? Let's see how I say this. Okay, because, like, you can believe in superstition. It's fine to believe in superstition, right? But because you can believe in whatever bullshit you want to believe in. Like, I used to believe that the earth was flat, right? Until I was proven wrong, right? But I think as a society, we need to make very clear that what we believe in is not proven at all. Because there's people out there who claim that, hey, like, Jesus is the God and the Savior of the world and whatever, right? And when you ask, okay, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof that he is the God, right? All you get hit with is either personal beliefs, personal experiences, and just emotional things that probably may have happened, might have not happened. And the thing is that, like, it sucks, right? Because, like, if the person tells you, hey, I got touched by the Holy Spirit of God, right, and that's the reason why I believe what I believe in, right? How can you disprove that, right? But how can you prove it either? How like, I could sit here and I could say that you made it all up, and there's no way to prove me wrong, because you can't prove what you felt was real. And that's the sucky part, right? So we're left with either we believe that these superstitions are real, right, and not question it at all, or we can sit back and we can start asking questions, because that's where integrity is, right? Integrity gets you much further, right, in life than anything. Integrity is what saves people. Integrity is what makes society worth living, right? But if you live in a world where like everything's like, it just seems like a lie because it is, right? Like how can anyone progress? Like we have to move on. Like Christianity and all these gods, right? You can't prove any of that. Like there's no way to prove it. How do you prove God? Like have you ever asked yourself that question? How exactly does one prove a God? Any God at all, right? Some say it's a touch, some say it's a feeling, whatever. Some people describe God as like all powerful, but these are all like characteristics. They're not like, it's not a God, it's not a thing. God is not a thing. Some people say God is love, but love is a characteristic too. Or God is all powerful. How can you be all powerful? That's impossible. How can you be all knowing? No one's all knowing. Can anyone walk in water? I don't think so. Can anyone come back from the dead? Not that we know of, right? It's just assumptions instead of assumptions. And I'm telling you right now that like society is not gonna be able to, like society has a lot of potential, but like we have to drop all these assumptions and we have to start asking questions, because that's where true heaven is. The true heaven is not somewhere in the skies. It's right here on earth. But the thing is that if all the principles here are based on assumptions, right, which are like, if you really go down the rabbit hole, assumptions are really just a lie. It's a lie in disguise, right? It's pretty much ignorance. It's like it's believing you know something that you don't know to be true. Like you're pretending like you know, like you know something that you don't know. And like I started digging into this Christian belief, right, and into these religious things, right, and it's all really just that. The principles are assumptions. That's all there is to it. It's assumptions on top of assumptions, and people believe it because it can't be proven or disproven. And I really despise that, because I'm a person that like ever since I got disproven wrong from like the flat earth, for example, right? When I got disproven that the earth was actually a globe and not flat, which is pretty common sense to think about, right? But anyone can fall for these like superstition, right? Because like when you don't feel God, or when you don't feel purpose or anything in life, then you start to get like faded away into these beliefs, right? Because your brain is essentially trying to make sense of what's truth, right? It's trying to give you a purpose. But the thing about an atheist is that like if you're an atheist, you essentially you're believing that there's no purpose to anything, that everything just came to be. That people say being a Christian is hard. Try being an atheist. It feels like everyone's against you. It feels like everyone tries to make it seem like, hey, you're the bad guy here because you wanna ask too many questions, or you wanna try to figure out what the truth is. Because it seems like people don't want to know the truth. Like, if you want to know the truth, you have to go to science. You don't go to God, you go to science. All right. So the truth is what's gonna save you, not God. Because God is just a belief. It's just like, someone thought that there is a God because, obviously there's people who I don't want to get too much into this because I don't want to make this video too long, but I don't think, I really don't even if there was a God, he's super, like, he's completely useless to any of us, because if he doesn't do anything, he doesn't show himself, he it's just a belief. I mean, I'm an atheist, right? And I believe in integrity, and if there ever is proof that there is a living God or anything, then I will drop all my beliefs, and then I would, hey, if there is actual evidence that there is a God, I would drop everything and I'll start believing in the new evidence, right? And I'll admit I was wrong, right? But so far, there's nothing, there's no evidence of anything. The only truth right now is that we don't know whether there's a God or there isn't. That's the only truth. Because you could sit here, I can sit here and I can pretend like I know that there is no God, right? But I'm making an assumption there too. And then I'd be considered a hypocrite, right? Because the very thing I'm preaching about, which is not making assumptions, is the very thing that I'm doing. So if I do say that there is no God, right, that implies that I have proof that there isn't a God. But there's no proof of anything. There's no proof that there's a God. There's no proof that there is a God. Anyways, I don't want to make this video longer than it is. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you really think there is a God, or do you think there isn't? What are your thoughts on this stuff? Anyways, I'm gonna leave it here, I guess. I don't really expect anyone to see this video, I guess, but I guess this is just more for me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hey, you know that, like, I don't say this to be disrespectful or to make anyone feel bad or anything like that, but I am after the truth, and I do want to know for sure. Like, I don't want to be that guy that's just pretending like he knows stuff, because I don't like assumptions. I do not want to make more assumptions. I felt so stupid for believing in the flat Earth, right? And I feel even more stupider for believing in God, because, like, essentially I am making the same assumption. Assumptions is what got me there to begin with. Like this level of, like, stupidity that I feel, like, deep in me. Like, it all started because I made an assumption, and I refuse to continue to make more assumptions. Thank you for watching.